Pharaoh Total War. So what we have had is a 45-minute reveal of the first look of this game. And first I'll say I'm really happy with the game. I am really happy with the fact that my channel name is a TW Pharoah. And playing as Egypt, there will be many Medjays to control and follow during this great era of the Bronze Age. Now what do I have to say regarding the look, the theory, the concept of what they're going in this game? It does sound good. There's definitely a lot of great things. Now let's talk about the campaign. First of all, the campaign map looks absolutely gorgeous. You know, the campaign map definitely feels unique. I would definitely say that it does have its inspiration, of course, from Troy. I do think that the UI could be improved in a certain manner, because the UI looks absolutely great for what we have right now. But I'll focus on that part when we come to the user interface part in a bit. Now with the campaign, of course, you have Egypt, Nubia, Canaan and Anatolia. And I would just say to CA that they should definitely still consider adding Mesopotamia. Because if in the Ultimate Edition, let's say 3 months down the line, we get, let's say, the 3 new factions and the campaign map expansion, okay? If we get more of Mesopotamia, and we get to fight the Assyrians, we get to fight, the Mesopotamians, I will be all for it. I'll say, look, this is the reason why TW Pharoah will be even more awesome, right? The campaign map does definitely provide a lot of variety. There does seem to be lots of factions. They are saying that the campaign map will be large. It'll be a really large Total War campaign. Then I would say this. If I'm going to besiege city 1, 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, they should all feel different and unique. All of them should not be too much. They should feel unique in the sense that every city I besiege is always going to have a different path. There's going to be multi-layered sieges. Every siege that I do will feel unique. And that's what I want in this game. And I'm sure there will be plenty of factions. But I also think that when Total War has this large sandbox campaign, it really works in its favor. Like in Rome 2, you had 8 factions. I think you had 8 factions at launch, but I could be wrong. But then they added so many DLC to it, so many faction packs, well not faction packs, but more nations, that you could literally go from one end of the map to the other. And I think, even though Mesopotamia is still not confirmed, there may be a possibility that we either get it down the DLC line, or what we get is something similar. So let's say we get another game that focuses on the kings of the Levant, well not the Levant, let's say the kings of the Tigris River. Alright, the kings of Mesopotamia. Now wouldn't that be a great DLC? That's what I want more of. And in the campaign, also what I'm liking about the fact is that you can play anybody and you have to work your way up the course. Now I've said this before, this will provide a lot of good campaign gameplay. And they also mentioned about the fact, the developers who were talking about this, they said that the stories of Egypt are as infinite and there's so much stuff that they can make out of it, And the story of Ramesses as a young child that's been given this army to fight against these Moradin people, I couldn't help but think there must be some inspiration from Wilbur Smith and his novels. The focus on the glory of ancient Egypt. I really like this rags to riches type of story. I also like the fact that even if you become the Pharaoh, even if you become the king of the Hittites, you have to basically survive the Bronze Age collapse. That's the main goal of this game. Survive the Bronze Age collapse, and then boom, you can have it. And I'm definitely sure that if you want more Bronze Age settings, perhaps more DLC or modders will definitely do their magic, and we'll see even more Bronze Age style scenarios, because this is based on the last period. I'm liking the Attila-esque era. I'm really liking it. So that would be my first take on the campaign gameplay. Now, I would say this, that it is vital that Mesopotamia is added, because I want to sack the city of Babylon, man. And I'm sure the developers know this. I'm sure the developers, they also want to go to Mesopotamia as well. and I really, really want it. So I'll say that I think Total War Troy, not Total War Troy, of course, but Total War Pharaoh would benefit from that. And I'll still take it. I'll take it in a third game. I'll take it as a DLC. I just need Mesopotamia because then I can play my ultimate Bronze Age fantasy. And it would be really cool that if they did game 1, game 2, and let's say game 3, and then to do a kind of Immortal Empires thing. That would be a really cool concept. That would be a really, really awesome thing to do. And I would say that maybe in the near future, definitely do add a mythological DLC because Egyptian mythology is just out of this world. And what am I liking now about this? Also, I'm loving the day-night cycle for the campaign map of Egypt, and this will be the first time that we are seeing Egypt in night mode in all the Total War games. Perhaps with Rome Remastered, you could see Egypt in its night mode, and that was a really great feature that they added with Rome Remastered. And with this game, we're going to be seeing it, and it's going to be awesome. So I'm really liking that aspect. And let's go to the UI. What am I talking about in the UI? I'm talking about the fact that when you're playing Troy's game, when you're playing the campaign, every bit of the UI reminds you about the Iliad. From the border illustrations, from, let's say, the nice color scheme they have of teal and orange and black, and that represents this Greek world. What we have with ancient Egypt here is this nice color scheme, of course, of blue and gold. I'm liking it, but the blue feels too bright, and it should be a bit more darker blue. It should be a bit more glowish jade in a way. I do think that what would work more is, let's say, blue and gold, but a bit more darker. I want the UI in every aspect to showcase elements of Egyptian gods, Egyptian whatever, right? And that's what I want the UI to be more of. And I'm liking the color scheme here. I'm liking the aspects of what we have, but I do think that the Khanate UI or the Hittite UI could be different. It doesn't need to be too uniform across the board. And when it comes to, let's say, Troy's buildings, you could select one building after the other, and they had all these different color schemes, and they look so warm and vibrant. Troy's campaign map had great lighting. It had one of the best lighting that I've seen in any Total War game. In fact, when you have the sky and you're reminded of all the Greek gods and all of that, that's really good. I want this in Pharaoh. I want a mode where you can see all the gods, and this would be, you can toggle it on or off, right? But you would see the Egyptian gods, you'd see Ra battling Apophis, because this was very, very central to Egyptian history. And I can tell you that the developers have done perhaps an insane amount of research when it has come to ancient Egypt, because they're talking about it, they know about this period, and they must be familiar with the mythos, because the ancient Egyptians believed in the gods. You can't separate the two. You can't just say that the Egyptians didn't believe in the gods and they believed in fake gods or whatever. That doesn't make sense. The ancient Egyptians were awesome for that time period. They had these great mythological stories, right? So that's what we want more of. And this would be a great feature to add. If you have this day-night cycle, then add a day-night cycle with the gods that can be seen here and there. So I'm saying that with the user interface and the lighting on the campaign map, they should definitely borrow more of that element to Troy. I can see the approach they're going for realism. I can see that approach, but I am saying here, I'm someone that likes saturation. I do like desaturation when it fits the theme. If I imagine a battle in Thrones of Britannia, it's grim, it's dark, it's raining, and there's this entire battle happening, right? It fits there. But this is the Bronze Age. This is the period of bright colors. This is the period of colorful whatever, All the city walls were colored. Everything was painted. It's not that people didn't like living in dull, grey, yellowish buildings or whatever. So, that's what I'm saying. The user interface just needs a bit more color scheme changes. That's it. And I want more natural lighting from Troy. I want the lighting to be bright. I want more of that Troy element. So that's with the user interface, and that's what I think. But But what they have right now, really fantastic. So with battles, what needs work, what needs improvement? And what is the great pros? I'll say this. Dynamic weather during battles, absolutely fantastic. Mash combat, absolutely fantastic. Chariots, absolutely fantastic. Meges, absolutely fantastic. And I'm liking the challenges and perspectives that they add in here at the same time. I would definitely say the battles that I've seen so far do seem kind of fast, do seem kind of repetitive in a way. I think what they need to do is to make it more heavy. Make the battles feel like I'm fighting this really insane grinding battle, but it has that nice spot in between. And the battles could be more, a little bit more deeper. More formations, more historical formations, and they did add the new formation style, which is really good. And that's it. I think more work needs to be done on the battles, and they can probably do it. I really am liking what they have done so far with the battles. And it is... I'm not an expert on battles, so don't take my opinion, don't take this too seriously. This is just me, an average Joe, just giving his opinion. There are better YouTubers out there that can give you better information on the battles. Until I play the battles, I won't be able to give a proper feedback, right? So we'll see what happens. Campaign-wise, really great. There's one thing they said, that you can build sappers when you're doing sieges. Okay, so you can build these things that tunnel underneath the walls and then break them. So I wonder if this will be visually represented, because in Rome Remastered, you could literally do this. And it was a really great feature. So I wonder if this is possible. I wonder. Because I would say that we should definitely have this feature. It's great that they brought the feature back, but bring it back in its full length. And I do hope they add it somewhere where you can see the ground shaking as they dig underneath the walls and they break it, right? Now that would be absolutely awesome. So let's see how that goes. And it's absolutely clear that the developers are really focusing on the campaign aspect. They are adding more features that we may not know about. And perhaps I would say to them, because you guys have studied the Egyptian history, you guys must have seen how much mythological lore is there, how much stuff there is when it comes to the stories of these time periods. So please add in a Friends and Foe DLC or something. Add in 100, 200, 300, I don't care how many dilemmas of Egyptian court intrigue, Egyptian expeditions, Egyptians, anything, whatever. Just add more dilemmas. Make all the cultures. If I play the Canaanites or the Hittites, they should have different cultures, different stories, different things. Characters will simulate your story, your gameplay. At the same time, you should also get lots of dilemmas and events, because Three Kingdoms really did this well. Three Kingdoms and its DLC. Well, that was... Shogun 2 had lots of events. That was really fantastic. And there were lots of dilemmas and events. So add that. Make me feel immersed when I play as an Egyptian. And obviously, while you can't add in all the 1,000 gods of the Egyptians and the Mesopotamians or whatever, you can give me a lot of religious events, because religion was a really, really big part of the Bronze Age world. It was one of the biggest things that you could even talk about. Religion was an everyday integral part of their lives. And if you play Assassin's Creed Origins, that is exactly what you will see. My message to the guys at CA Sophia: you guys really did an outstanding job when it came to the Troy map. Just look at how beautiful it looks. The bright blue oceans, the really nice lighting that's coming through, right? So what I'm saying is, do this with Egypt. Make all the oceans look like you can see in the campaign map right now. It looks great. It's looking good, but we want more natural lighting. More natural lighting. Make the oceans look emerald blue, emerald green. I really want to see something like that. And I really want to see, but I'm just judging based on what I've seen so far. The campaign map looks great. I definitely want less desaturation. I want more saturation. But not in the sense that it becomes too bright, but in the sense that it's bright enough to say, yeah, you can definitely have this and that. Alright, So that's what I want. Also talk about this. I want the pyramids as an actual battle map. I really want the pyramids as an actual battle map. If I fight in the pyramids, it has to appear on the campaign map. This is something that must be added. I just don't want the pyramids in the background. I don't want it in the background. I want it in. And there's another thing that I also have noticed is that, say you have all this great map design, you have all these rivers, these bridges and whatever, but you're mostly fighting on land and mainly desert. So you don't get to use more of the great natural environments that the developers have obviously put their hard work in. So I would say to the developers, add in more elements within the battle maps. You obviously have mentioned it within the first look video, right? But if I'm playing in a desert map, I need to have big large canyons. I need to have these big large canyons and lots of sand in one battle map. In another battle map, if I have desert and I have trees and forests that are on the edges of the map, bring them in. Let me experience more of it. Because the more elements that are added in a battlefield, it definitely will feel more dynamic. And Troy did this to such a great extent. You know, in the battles in Troy, you could literally fight on different areas and stuff. So that's what I want to see. More improvements. What else am I asking for? I'm not even asking for much here. I'm just saying, you know, I kept low expectations. I wasn't thinking that, yeah, sure, we had Pharaoh. I was going to see what was going to happen. But the more I talk about it, the more I feel optimistic. The more I feel that there are good things coming for this game. The more I'm getting happy about it. My main thing is that I want this game to have a long replayability. I want this game to have Mesopotamia. It needs to be added. In a DLC or Game 3, I will not stop championing the cause for Mesopotamia. Right? If we get in a third game, well then, yeah, I'll have to take it, but it would be really nice to see all the three games interconnected and we'd have this great Bronze Age Total War game. So, the campaign lighting in Troy was great. Bring it here, bring it and add more into it. You know, I want more of it in Pharaoh. I want the UI to be a bit more dynamic. I want the UI to be more ancient Egyptian. Shouldn't just be blue and gold and nothing else. I want to see gods. I want to see more stuff. I want to see more with the UI. The battles could have more improvement within the land. Well, add in more visual variety, more cliffs, because Troy did some really fantastic work when it came to the battle maps. It had the most dynamic battle maps of any Total War game, I would say. And I do think that the battles could be a bit more dense. And I definitely think, I'll say this because I'm coming to the end of this video, that I do think that the pricing does need to be cheaper. At least offer more discounts to all of us that want to pre-order this game. Because it looks fantastic. It looks good. I definitely want to see more of it. I definitely want to see more, let's say, video. I definitely do think that there's a lot of things that are looking good for this game. It just needs improvement in a few areas, more natural lighting and a bit more UI stuff. And of course, I'm just judging from what I've seen with the first gameplay look. I'm loving the game. I just think some things need to be added, some things need to be improved. Otherwise, I'm quite happy with the state of the game in the sense that from what it looks, I'm happy with it. I am a little bit disappointed we haven't got Mesopotamia. I do want Mesopotamia, and a lot of Total War fans will clamor for it at some point. Mesopotamia will be added. All Mesopotamia fans must rally for this thing. And let's see what happens. So I'm going to be covering more Troy content. Well, not Troy, I keep saying Troy for some reason. I'll be covering more Pharaoh content. As someone that is going to make ambiences, definitely there's going to be lots of ambiences, cinematic battles. This is a game for me. It's a game for my channel apparently, because I'm the Measure of Fire and there'll be lots of measures to control and do whatever. So let's see what happens. I'm thinking that this might be a game that might, alright? I think I think at the end, this will be a game that perhaps may exceed expectations. It's hard to say. The developers have done, as you can see, a lot of hard work. I'm thinking, let's see what happens. I'm liking the look. Things need to be added in, whatever, and we will see what happens. When more content is available, I'll be able to make it. This has been a very comprehensive thing, and yeah, it's 45 minutes, so I tried to summarize as best as I could. And yeah, so don't forget to leave a like, share, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video.